Let's start with some potentially good news. I don't know what you think of it yet. Have you seen Chelsea's new home kit?
Yes,
Released
I have.
Today? What do you think?
Well, I think the kit's beautiful, and the fact that they've wheeled out Dennis Wise and Roberto Di Matteo is always it's always gonna affect me. Like they are icons. Like those two in particular. Like Dennis Wise represents everything that I love about Chelsea. Like he was Chelsea when I was a kid. Like he was exceptional as a winger. You know, like when we signed him off Wimbledon, he was a winger that came in. I think weird team, Graeme Stewart, Vinnie Jones, and he was just a winger. All of a sudden, a decade or so later, Chelsea were winning trophies. We signed Didier Deschamps in central midfield, a player who had just won the World Cup, captained France to the World Cup. Dennis Wise kept him out of the team. And sometimes we accommodated Deschamps to the furtherance of Wise's performances. Wise was scoring a lot of goals that year. We were in the Champions League. Wise scored in San Siro that year. All because of his ability to hang around. When he first arrived, he was playing in a team with like Gareth Hall. Suddenly he's in a team with, Zola and Hasselbank and whoever else, and he still managed to stay. He was actually the only player who managed to stick around, a superb talent. And Roberto Di Matteo, I think we should build a statue to him at Stamford Bridge immediately. If you think about his moments, yeah, why not? Sitting on the little Vespa, the Chelsea emblazoned Vespa. But when you think about contributions to Chelsea, in terms of individual contributions from like one person, I don't think you can think of more moments for Chelsea than Roberto Di Matteo.
That's a really good point.
Think about
player and manager.
Think about as a player, scored the opening goal, the fastest goal in an FA Cup final at the time,
what a goal
to end Chelsea's 25-year wait for silverware.
Yeah.
We then won the final FA Cup at the old Wembley.
Yeah.
So the last ever, which is historic, right? We won the first FA Cup at the old Wembley. He scored in the final there. Yeah. Then he comes back a decade or so later with Eddie Newton. We were at the club together to win Chelsea a Champions League. Like Roberto Di Matteo should have a statue. I truly believe that.
So you like the kit then?
Love, and give me any excuse to talk about 90s Chelsea players.
No sponsor. Would you rather no sponsor? I think it looks a bit weird.
I'd love a clean kit.
Really?
I'd love a clean
like
kit.
The 60s.
I would. Also, yeah.
What the badge? By the way, if you haven't seen it yet, it will be on Chelsea's social media all over it. But is the badge kind of multicoloured? It's kind of, when I looked at it, it looked green.
The Chelsea crest?
Yeah, the crest.
No.
Or was it like this kind of just funky?
What, you mean they've done something new on this
it looked
kit?
A bit multicoloured.
No, Chelsea's kit is not. Chelsea's kit is two-tone. It's not a multicolour.
It's not no, but the badge.
No, the badge. There'll be a very discreet whisper of red in it, but no.
I see. Well, one player that we won't see in that kit next season is Mason Mount. Now, my question for you first off: Thibaut Courtois, when he left, he's not exactly loved, is he?
No.
At Stamford Bridge. Mason Mount, is he on the same level as Thibaut Courtois in terms of villainy? Is he higher than Thibaut Courtois?
I think it's worse. I think it's worse. I think what Thibaut Courtois did, Thibaut Courtois is most certainly persona non grata at Chelsea. Right. Very disliked, will be booed, was booed recently. And I think people took it very hard the way that Thibaut Courtois behaved. For me, I can rationalise it. He isn't a Chelsea man as such. We signed him. He isn't from London. He didn't grow up with Chelsea. So again, I can rationalise it. And I will always be able to understand any player that succumbs to the allure of Real Madrid.
Right.
It's Real Madrid.
Yeah, it's Real Madrid.
He's Belgian.
Yeah.
Yes, he wants to play for Real Madrid more than he wants to play for Chelsea. Of course, football is illogical, football is irrational, football is tribal, and football is passionate. So I'm not happy with the decision, but I can rationalise it with Thibaut Courtois. He's not on my Christmas card list, but I can rationalise it.
Unlucky Thibaut.
With Mason Mount, I can't really rationalise it. It doesn't make sense to me. He's gone to Manchester United, which, again, I'm not totally blind here. Manchester United are a bigger club than Chelsea, incomparable, in fact. Mm-hmm. Manchester United, one of the biggest British institutions that there are. Take it away from sport, Manchester United are on the stock exchange. They are a different beast altogether. They aren't comparable to normal football clubs. But it isn't exactly the land of milk and honey at the moment, Manchester United. They had a better season than Chelsea, but they certainly haven't had a better half decade than Chelsea. Certainly haven't had a better decade, and they certainly haven't had a better 2 decades. So yeah, they finished above Chelsea in the league this year, and they won a trophy this year. Mm-hmm. But with Mason Mount, his desperation to go to Manchester United and the way that he's conducted himself about going really hurt. And the fact that he positioned himself as a fan, the boy who had a dream, the Cobham kids, and all of that. It's made it 100 times worse than Thibaut Courtois.
Do you know what? I've got to be honest with you, mate. I think you're being way too harsh on Mason Mount. Okay. I think you're being way too harsh. I just think we had chats before he left, and you were saying, look, the club have got to sort this out. He's been disrespected by the club. Reece James's best mate has been paid so much more than him. He's not got a good enough contract. Now, if you're Mason Mount, I mean, seriously, Cobham kid, everything like that aside, what do? You have teams like Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, all of which are doing better than Chelsea.
Mm-hmm. Did better than Chelsea. Did better than Chelsea in one specific season.
Did better than Chelsea last season.
But remember, Chelsea with Mount in the team have won a Champions League. Like he won a European Cup at Chelsea as well. So it's not like he doesn't know the good times. It's not like he hasn't left a club that he hasn't left Chelsea in 1994. When we hadn't won a trophy for 25 years.
There's still going to be a draw towards join. If you're at a club that's disrespecting you, surely there's a big draw to join Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United.
So the disrespect, and where Mason Mount did have a point, is Mason Mount was chronically underpaid.
Yeah.
For years. Chronically underpaid. He was earning less than $100,000 a week, which is ridiculous.
Sorry, so then he's done a video. I know it maybe it looks a bit patronising, I don't know, but at least he's tried to say sorry to the fans. At least he's tried to explain the move.
But that was incredibly hollow. Did you see? Let's compare Mason Mount's. I'm enjoying this. Yeah. Let's compare Mason Mount's video to the fans to Cesar Azpilicueta's. One felt heartfelt. One felt emotional, one felt genuine. The other one felt like a PR statement that was being read.
But is that just the delivery? Maybe Mason Mount isn't the best at delivering that kind of thing.
Yeah, but why would Cesar Azpilicueta be a better orator? It's about emotion. It's not about delivery, it's about emotion.
Right at the start of Mason Mount's thing, he said, "Do you know what? I don't want this to be a written statement because I feel like I need to say it." It was
a written statement. He's clearly reading.
I know, but that's just...
And what about the fact that he was blonde? And the significance of that. I don't care that he's blonde.
The day was already, is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying that was sat in his drafts. He had blonde hair 6 weeks ago.
But I don't think it matters that he wrote it because it was coming from his heart and he was trying to write the fans a message to get it across. I don't think he has to do it.
It didn't come across.
Why does he have to do a message off the cuff?
It didn't come. No, he doesn't have to do it off the cuff. Absolutely not. But he does have to do it with sincerity. It doesn't. It shouldn't feel hollow.
Yeah.
And it did.
Do you think...
I think he was underpaid, by the way. But I think that the way that he was treated by the club of late, the new ownership, I think is poor.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that he was now offered a deal over $200,000 a week, and he still chose to leave.
But it's a bit too far gone by then, isn't it?
Not if you love the club. If you don't love the club, then yeah, it's too far gone. If you do love the club...
Don't you think he was disrespected so much that the club coming in with this late offer, it's almost disrespectful in itself?
It depends if you love the club. Like, let's explore what being a supporter is.
You mentioned the whole... And I get it, the whole Cobham kid who had I really do get it, but he's from Portsmouth, mate. He's from my neck of the woods.
No, but he's not from... Okay, look, he's from Portsmouth.
From 5, but he was also at the Portsmouth Academy.
Yeah, but he wouldn't know life without Chelsea. Like, it's all very well to go, he was born in a different city.
But made in the Royal Navy, sorry.
But but you know, I've got a 4-year-old.
Right.
If she today, at 4, in 2 years' time, were to sign for... So at the moment, she's a Chelsea fan, she's got a Chelsea kit.
Yeah.
Everything about her is Chelsea. Her father's a Chelsea fan. Her mother is told she's a Chelsea fan. My kid is a Chelsea fan. If for some reason my kid happens to be a natural footballer and gets signed up by Tottenham... Now, she'll have no understanding of Chelsea, being Chelsea. It won't be who she is. Mason Mount, he was born in Portsmouth. But everything that he's known, his entire living memory will be at Cobham. His entire youthful memory, like everything about him. You've seen these clips of him when he was a kid with that moody little haircut. Everything about his life would have been at Chelsea. He'd have no recollection or affinity to Fratton Park.
I just think, mate, I think you need to aim your anger at your club. More than you do at Mason Mount.
The only way that Mason Mount isn't guilty of what I'm suggesting he is guilty of is if he was only ever at Chelsea for business. And the fact that he was paid poorly and has been underpaid, that justifies leaving. That's fine. But then don't pretend to be the fan, because a fan gets over that. A fan goes, you've been underpaying me, but you've offered me $200,000 a week now and I want to be here, so I'm here.
Yeah.
So you can't have it both ways. You can say, I've been underpaid and I'm leaving, and it's a business decision. Or you can say, I follow my heart and I love Chelsea and I'm staying. What you can't do is go, I follow my heart and I love Chelsea and I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Because they don't marry up.
Yeah. Can we talk about can we talk about Tony Mount? His dad.
Yeah, he's terrible, isn't he?
He's under a bit of fire. Right,
he's like Lady Macbeth.
Can I ask you one question first?
Don't you think he's like Lady Macbeth, sort of whispering? You know, do you remember Lady Macbeth, GCSEs, right? Yeah. Lady Macbeth was like in Iago's ear, and then she was in like just in everyone's ear, right?
Iago, who did he play for?
Oh no, not Iago. Yeah, he was right. She was doing the whispering.
Yeah.
She was everywhere, right? She was everywhere, making sure that everything was going wrong. That's Tony Mount.
Sorry, but you know you said about Darren Ambrose getting a headline. That is going to be the best headline ever on the talkSPORT website.
What? Tony Mount is Lady Macbeth. It's true, though.
Right, can I ask you one question firstly? And I genuinely don't know this, and I feel like you might know this. Is Tony Mount actually a Chelsea fan?
I think what's come out, I don't know him. I think what's come out recently is he's a Man United fan.
Right. Okay. So, you mentioned, did you say your daughter's 4?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah, okay. So, at the moment, she's a Chelsea fan, stuff like that. Let's say, right now, she joins West Brom, right? And she grows up, she goes through the Hawthorns Academy, and then becomes a West Brom player, wins the Champions League with West Brom, of course. You have these great times and stuff like that. And then Chelsea make an offer for her, right? And you're her dad. How do you act? What do you do? What do you say?
Tony Mount being a Man United fan, though, it's more superficial than me being a Chelsea fan, isn't it?
Potentially.
It's definitely more superficial.
What, because of where he's from?
Yeah, because of, like, he ain't got a season ticket on a Stretford end, does he? Do you know, I mean, he hasn't been going up there week in, week out. Do you know what's the, do you know,
that's because his son do
you know a better example of this? Do you know what I think really tells the story? Rather than my sort of fictional situation of my daughter playing for West Brom, I'll tell you do you ever listen to Peter Crouch's podcast?
Yeah.
Have you listened to the episode where he talks about being a Chelsea fan and how that was kind of stolen from him? And he said, football's given me so much. I've got so much out of football. Football is responsible for who I am and all of that. But it has taken something from me. And it's taken away my football team because I don't have a football team. Like, he was named Peter after Peter Osgood, Chelsea's greatest ever player, the King of Stamford Bridge. Because of the way Chelsea fans treated him, and it was bad, Peter Crouch could no longer support Chelsea, and he doesn't support Chelsea anymore, but his father still does.
Yeah.
But it obviously had an impact. Football can change you. Jamie Carragher's father was like in the Everton firm.
Yeah.
And he's obviously now a Liverpool legend. It can change you. But this isn't that. Let's not conflate true passionate experiences that Jamie Carragher's had and Peter Crouch has had with Mason Mount wanting more money. Like, they're not the same thing.